The Easter they lied. My name is Danielle Holloway. I'm 36 years old, live in Pittsburgh, and work as an environmental consultant. I spend my days inspecting industrial sites, making sure companies follow the rules and don't destroy the planet. It's not glamorous, but it matters. Still, to my family, I'm practically invisible. One Thursday morning, just a week before Easter, I was standing in my kitchen, sipping lukewarm coffee, when my phone rang. It was my mom. "We're not doing Easter brunch this year," she said quickly. I blinked. "But, you said everything was already planned. The restaurant was booked." "Well," she snapped, "things changed. The place is under construction. Maybe we'll do something small next month." That was it. No warmth, no apology, just a quick brush off, like I didn't matter. I didn't argue. I never do. I just said, "Understood," and hung up. Staring at my reflection in the kitchen window, I didn't recognize myself. I looked tired, sad, small. When did I become so easy to overlook? Still, I tried to believe her. Maybe there really was construction, maybe plans really did fall apart, but something about it didn't feel right. Easter has always been a big deal for my family. My grandmother used to bake her special Easter bread, and we'd all dress up in pastels and gather around a fancy table. Even when she passed, my mom kept the traditions going. Last year, I wore a lavender dress that no one complimented. The year before, I wore green, still nothing. My sister Harper always showed up in jeans and somehow got all the praise. And now, suddenly, Easter brunch was just cancelled. I texted a few friends and made other plans. I told myself it was better this way. No awkward silences. No feeling like a guest in my own family. No pretending not to notice how Harper's life was always treated like front-page news, while mine barely earned a footnote. Still, something kept nagging at me, like when I scan reports at work and find a number that doesn't add up. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. On Easter Sunday, I stood in my bathroom applying mascara. I wore a soft blue dress, simple but pretty. My friends and I were meeting at North Peak Grill for brunch. I tried to look forward to it. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about my cousin Katie. She was the only one in the family who treated me like I belonged. She usually gave me the inside scoop, always made sure I wasn't left out. But she'd been quiet. No texts, no apologies for the cancelled brunch, just silence. That wasn't like her. At the restaurant, the place was buzzing with laughter and music. Jules and Brooke, two good friends, hugged me when I arrived. We ordered mimosas and eggs Benedict, and I tried to relax, tried to focus on the people who actually wanted me around. "So, your family just cancelled everything?" Jules asked as she stirred her drink. "Yeah," I said. "They said the restaurant was under construction." Brooke frowned. "In April? That's weird." I shrugged. "It's what my mom told me." Right then, my phone buzzed. I looked down. It was a message from Katie. My heart skipped. I opened it fast, too fast. "Katie, best private dining room ever." Attached were photos, lots of them. I stared, my mouth slowly falling open. The pictures were from Easter brunch. My family's Easter brunch. There was my mom at the head of a long table, wearing pearls and smiling, my dad in his Sunday best, Harper glowing in a cream-colored silk dress, my aunts, uncles, cousins, even the neighbors, all dressed up, all laughing, all seated around a perfectly decorated table with pastel napkins and Grandma's Easter bread in the center. The very brunch I was told didn't exist. I scrolled through more photos, and then I saw it. An empty seat between Uncle Tom and Aunt Susan, my place, set just like the others, but I wasn't invited, I wasn't even told. "Danny," Jules said gently, "everything okay?" I couldn't speak, my fingers moved without thinking, saving every photo before Katie could delete them. Then came one more message. "Katie, sorry, wrong group." My chest tightened. The pain wasn't just in being excluded, it was knowing that they had lied, on purpose. They hadn't forgotten me. They'd planned a whole brunch and carefully kept me out. And Katie, whether by mistake or guilt, had just exposed them all. I set my phone down. My hands were steady now, even though my heart felt shattered. For years, I'd told myself it was just thoughtlessness, that maybe I was too sensitive. But this was deliberate, this was cruel. They had made sure I wouldn't be there, and then celebrated like I didn't exist. Weeks passed. My family acted like nothing had happened. My mom called once, just to say I'd been distant lately. She didn't mention Easter. Harper sent me a photo of her new apartment, bragging about her new pillows. Not a word about the brunch. I buried myself in work, but the photos stayed with me. I saved them in a folder called Project Family Reunion. I didn't know what I'd do with them, but they felt important, like proof that I wasn't imagining the way they treated me. At work, my boss Preston noticed something was off. "You okay, Danielle?" he asked kindly. "Just some family stuff," I said. He nodded. "Family's tricky, take care of yourself." That small kindness hit harder than I expected. I had to excuse myself and go to the bathroom. I looked at the photos again, still trying to understand, still trying to make it make sense. But maybe it didn't need to. Maybe the truth was simple. They didn't want me there. And now, I couldn't pretend anymore. 2 weeks after Easter, my phone rang on a quiet Saturday morning. It was a Pittsburgh number I didn't recognize. I answered it anyway, heart pounding, hands trembling. Something was about to change. Memorial Day at the Hollow Gate Club. It was a quiet Saturday morning when my phone rang. I didn't recognize the Pittsburgh number at first, but I picked up anyway. "Danielle, it's Aunt Patricia," came the familiar voice, sweet and firm. "We're planning Memorial Day lunch at the club. You'll come, right?" The words caught me off guard. The club, the Hollow Gate Club, our families go to place for big events, fancy ones, weddings, anniversaries, retirement parties, definitely not somewhere they'd invite me for no reason. I hesitated, trying to process what she'd just said. "Dear, you know the place, 1 o'clock, don't be late like last time," she added casually. Last time? There was no last time. I hadn't been invited to Memorial Day lunch in 3 years. Before I could ask, the line went dead. I stared at my phone, hands trembling. Was this a real invitation, or just another trap? After the Easter brunch lie, the one they covered up with some story about restaurant construction, I didn't trust anything anymore. Was this their way of making peace, or were they testing me, trying to see if I knew they'd left me out? I didn't know what to believe. The days that followed dragged slowly. I kept checking my phone, half expecting another call saying plans had changed, but no one called, no cancellation. Then Thursday night, Harper sent a message, "Looking forward to seeing you Monday." That text alone made me nervous. Harper never looked forward to seeing me, ever. Something wasn't right. I tried focusing on work at Amberllin Ventures, digging through environmental audits, but my thoughts kept drifting back to the upcoming lunch. Preston, my boss, noticed my distracted state during our team meeting. "You okay, Danielle? You seem off," he asked. "Just some family stuff," I replied quietly. He nodded. "Take Friday off, rest, take care of yourself." So I did, but instead of relaxing, I stood in front of my closet that evening, unsure of what to wear. Should I dress up? What if this was all a joke again? What if I showed up overdressed to something I wasn't really welcome at? I picked a simple navy dress, not too fancy, not too plain. It was safe. When Monday came, the weather was perfect. The sun shined bright, as if mocking my nervous energy. I drove to the club with my heart pounding, the Easter photos still saved on my phone. I didn't know if I'd need them, but I wasn't letting them go. The club's parking lot was full of familiar cars, Harper's flashy BMW, Uncle Tom's Lexus, even the Johnsons' minivan. I parked in the back, suddenly unsure of my decision to come. Inside the elegant lobby, a young hostess greeted me with a smile. "Holloway party, right this way." I followed her through the halls lined with fancy paintings and sparkling chandeliers until we reached the private dining room, and there they were, my whole family, already seated around a long, beautifully set table. My mother barely glanced up before turning back to her conversation with Aunt Patricia. Harper looked up long enough to give me a stiff smile, the kind that said she noticed me, but barely cared. Only Katie stood up, giving me a warm hug. She whispered, "You made it, I wondered if you'd come." Before I could respond, my mother chimed in sharply. "Of course she came, she's family." Her tone didn't match the words, it was more like a warning than a welcome. I took my seat between Katie and Grandpa. At least he patted my hand and smiled. "Glad you're here, Danielle, we don't see you enough." "No," I replied softly, "you don't." Lunch moved on like everything was fine, but it wasn't. The conversation circled around topics I wasn't part of, vacations I hadn't been invited to, people I'd never met, Harper's newest design project. She's working on a millionaire's lake house, Aunt Patricia gushed. Harper tossed her hair back. The client insisted on sustainable materials. Maybe Danielle knows about that stuff. The whole table turned to me. I opened my mouth to speak, but my mother cut me off. Oh, let's not get into work talk. This is family time. Family time. The words echoed in my head like a cruel joke. The Easter photos burned in my memory, the matching tablecloths, Grandma's homemade bread, the chair with my name card that I never got to sit in. My thumb hovered over the photo folder on my phone, still hidden in my lap. Then, something unexpected happened. Uncle Tom's phone rang. He stepped out and came back with news that shifted everything. Well, he said, looks like Cousin Robert's wedding is back on. The bride's family pulled out of hosting. They want to know if we can take over. My mother sighed. We're already hosting the Summer's End garden party. That's a lot. Aunt Patricia chimed in. Unless we combine them, make it a huge event, like a family reunion. My stomach twisted. Reunion? I asked. My mother quickly backtracked. Not a real reunion, just a bigger gathering, but with the house full, space will be tight. Tight space, another excuse to leave me out. This lunch was just a setup, a soft warning, a reminder that I didn't belong. My phone felt heavy in my lap. The Easter photos, my proof, seemed more important than ever, but I had to be smart. This wasn't the time to explode. So, I smiled. That sounds lovely, I said calmly. I'd love to help plan it. The entire table paused. My mother's face tightened. Harper blinked. Katie looked stunned. Help plan? My mother repeated. Sure, I said. I've managed conferences before. It's not that different. Catering, vendors, eco-friendly setups. I could even help make sure everyone feels included. I let that word hang in the air. Everyone. Uncle Tom cleared his throat. Aunt Patricia looked down at her napkin. We appreciate the offer, my mother replied, her voice cool, but we already have a planning committee. Ah yes, the planning committee, the group that always left me out. I understand, I said sweetly, just let me know if anything comes up. Then Katie, brave, loyal Katie, spoke up. Actually, she said, Robert's fiancée is really into sustainability. She wants an eco-friendly wedding. Danielle could help with that. My mother hesitated. If she said no, she'd look like she was ignoring the bride's wishes. I suppose we could discuss. Great, I said, smiling through my racing heart, looking forward to it. They had no idea I was sitting on proof, photos that told a different story, but I wasn't ready to use them yet, not until the time was right. For now, I'd play their game, smile at their table, offer my help. Because the next move? That was mine to make.